Hey guys, welcome back, and I want to tell you about the biggest shake-up to the SA industry that's going to happen in a generation, and that is regulation. So they're talking about this in the Parliament at the moment, about what is going to happen next year, and it's more than likely going to be next year that these things come in place. Now in Scotland, if you're operating an SA unit in Scotland already, there's measures in place that require you to get a license. You've got to pay for a license, so that's an upfront cost that you may not be allowing for now if you're currently operating in England and Wales. Also, there's a load of hoops that you've got to jump through to get the license. This is very similar to when they brought in the HMO licensing scheme a few years ago. And now they're doing the same thing with SA. They're regulating this industry to make sure that the health and safety of people coming and staying in all these Airbnbs and all these other holiday lets around the country are looked after. It's about public safety. It's about improving the quality of what's out there. So Scotland is a really great example of the sort of hoops that you are probably going to have to jump through here in England and Wales when the time comes. And those are a few select things that make sense to do anyway, right? So you have to get a 5-yearly EICR test, electrical condition report test. You have to, it's mandatory in Scotland, but not currently mandatory in the UK, in England and Wales, is to have a PAT test yearly, a portable appliance test on all the electronic items in your property. The big one I really want to talk about is the fire safety. Now, fire safety is a big unknown to a lot of people that are running Airbnbs and holiday lets at the moment, and it could cost you a huge amount of money. For example, in a 3-story property, many of the houses that I own are 3 stories and hold up to 15, 16 people. These are large properties. You need to make sure that your fire safety is appropriate for that size of group, that many people and that many bedrooms. That usually means that you need an LD2 type alarm system, which is a fairly comprehensive alarm system, hardwired, interlinked alarms. You need a smoke alarm in every bedroom, on every corridor. You need a heat sensor in any room that has a heat source. So if you've got a wood burning stove, put one in there. The kitchen certainly. But a system like that, an LD2 system for a big 8-bedroom house, is about £10,000 to buy. Now we do things correctly, we always have done, so I've put all those systems in place right now. In fact, before I even start a refurb project, the first thing I do is get a fire risk assessor to come over, have a look at my property. I tell them all the plans for what I'm going to do with it. It's going to be a holiday let, it's going to be this many people, these are where the bedrooms are, and they'll give me an exact plan of exactly what alarm system I need, exactly what fire safety regulations I need to meet, where I need to improve things. So I've already front loaded this work, it's done. But if you're sat there with big properties in particular that haven't got the correct fire alarm systems in, coming soon is going to be this regulation, and you're going to need to be assessed by a fire alarm officer or fire safety officer to come over and check out your properties to make sure you're doing things correctly. And you might have to pay out all this money. Another thing that is really common and comes up a lot with my fire assessments are fire safety doors, fire doors. You need FD30 as a minimum, which gives you a 30 minimum fire safety protection to protect the escape route for your houses. So your guests need to be able to come from any room in the property and escape safely with 30 minutes protection, which means you've got to put a lot of fire doors in, right? In an 8-bedroom house, there could be 8 or 10 fire doors, and that costs around £250, £300 including the installation. You've got to make sure that they are FD30, that you put the intumescent strips in the doors, that they also all have self-closers on them, and the fire safety officer will tell you exactly this. So you've got to make sure you do this, guys. But that could be another £3,000, £4,000, £5,000. So very quickly, in one swoop, without doing any of the other things that I suspect you're going to need to get a license, you're looking at £10,000 or £15,000 just on the fire safety. Now that is going to shake up the industry massively. If you're sat there with one of these big houses and you know you've not done the fire safety to a correct standard, I'd be looking at that right now, starting to get the assessments done, making sure you protect the guests that are coming not only for you right now, but also after the regulation when you're going to have to do this anyway. A lot of people are doing R2SA, where you're renting properties that aren't your own, putting them on Airbnb, Booking.com, etc., and filtering guests through that way. Now, the big problem here and the big question with that strategy, which is going to completely turn the whole industry upside down, is who pays for the fire alarm then? So if you're renting a property from someone, they know that you're doing serviced accommodation in it, but you know that you need a license now and the fire safety is not up to standard. Who's going to pay for that? Are you suddenly going to have to pay for that? Is the landlord going to have to pay for that? And how does that work? If you're paying for it and you're renting the property, then how long is it going to take for you to get that investment back? Like I say, for these bigger houses, it's £15,000. So that might not be a very good idea to spend that amount of money on a rent-to-rent place. If it's a smaller one-bedroom apartment, or if it's a smaller 1 or 2 bedroom house, it's maybe not such a big cost, but it's certainly a cost you're going to have to factor in. So bear that in mind when you're coming to negotiate with all your landlords about all your rent-to-rent deals. So this is a huge thing that's happening in the industry next year. If you want more information, keep an eye out for my videos. I share as much as I can about everything I know in the industry. I've been doing serviced accommodation for over 3 years. I built a £3 million portfolio, and I started off with a tent in a field. Look for my other videos if you want to see more information on how I managed to do that. But absolutely reach out to me if you need any more help, any advice. We'd love to help you, and we really hope that you guys do the right thing and look after your guests by getting your fire safety in order right now, making sure that you meet those upcoming regulations which are going to happen next year, and look to Scotland for the guidance for what is going to happen in England and Wales. Thanks for watching me, guys. I really hope that you got a lot of value from that. Reach out to me for more support.